Hi, I'm Mark Joseph. Welcome to a very special edition of the program. Today we're in Honolulu, Hawaii at the USS Arizona Memorial here at Pearl Harbor. Our special guest today is the Chief Ranger here at the memorial, Randy Wester. Now, Randy oversees the entire functions of this park and the memorial. You know, for many Americans, the USS Arizona represents not only the horrors of war, but also the growing bond of friendship between the U.S. and Japan that's lasted for 50 years. Come on along and join us.
During the attack on Pearl Harbor, the hardest hit U.S. ship was the USS Arizona. Suggestions for a memorial began in 1943, and construction was completed in 1961. Chief Ranger Randy Wester discusses the park's interpretation of the memorial, explaining that in order to give an even-handed account, the park garners information from veterans on both sides. A daily maximum of 4,500 people can visit the memorial, and Wester describes the tour, which includes a theater program, a Navy shuttle boat ride to the memorial, and a viewing of the ship. He notes the monument was designed by an architect named Alfred Price.
Randy Wester, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Please tell us about your duties here at the Arizona Memorial.
I'm the Chief Park Ranger here at the memorial. I've just been here about not quite 3 months this time. I was here as an operations supervisor from 1991 to early 1993, and so I learned a lot about what I know now at that time. Here as the Chief Ranger this time, I have a staff of about 18 to 20. It varies depending on the time of year. Mostly they're interpreters that are the frontline folks that we have here at the park. They're the ones that do the programs for folks. They work the front desk. They greet the people when they come in, give out the tickets, take people on the tours. And we also have resource management people and a law enforcement specialist and a historian that also are in my area. And I kind of oversee the operation that makes sure that we do have enough people to be out online to take care of all these folks that come to visit each day.
What does it mean to be a seasonal interpreter?
It's a beginning position. It's a position that we have historically used as a learning process. You can get some minimal amount of training and you can learn your craft. In this case, I rose through the ranks of interpretation. There's also the Ranger Division, which deals more with, in larger parks, in areas of law enforcement, search and rescue. If you get into some of the crown jewels, as they're called, like Yellowstone or Grand Teton, Yosemite, you might be dealing with technical rock climbing, mountain climbing, maybe perhaps doing rescues in that area. Some parks you're required to be very good at skiing. There's just a whole world of different types of positions that you can do. Interpretation, no matter which park you're in, you're telling the story that that park has to tell, and you're sharing that with all the visitors that come in. And that's been my primary background.
So here at the Arizona Memorial, what is your job as an interpreter?
Well, primarily my job here now is I've sort of evolved out of the interpretation ranks as such. I haven't done programs here for some time, and I more or less oversee those that do the programs. We have others on the staff that do the actual training and work with these folks on their technique and their presentation of their programs. Others that have the research capabilities and are able to work with supplying the facts and making sure that we tell an even-handed, well-balanced story, but historically accurate.
You have a whole bunch of groups that come here, from veterans on one side, veterans on the other side, to people who weren't even around at the time. How do you decide how to tell the story?
As I mentioned, we do our best to give it a well-balanced reading, and we strive to make sure that we are absolutely correct on our facts. We require a lot of documentation and well-researched information before we present this to the public. We are constantly finding new information, and we go after information from, as you mentioned, the veterans on both sides. We've gotten a great deal of wonderful information from the Japanese historical community, some from the actual people that were involved in the attack. And we have 5 veterans that are regular members of our staff online that do interpretive programs, and they are a very special part of the staff. They do theater programs, do some special programs on the back lanai, and it's great for the visiting public to get this first-hand perspective as to what took place on that day and at that time.
What is a full tour of the memorial like? Can you take us through the process and what will be seen?
It's a fairly regimented type program, primarily because of the numbers of people that we have come in. We can serve a maximum of 4,500 people a day, and depending on the time of year, we'll usually open it, our first program, either at 7:45 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And you start with a theater program, which is a film that lasts about 25 minutes. Then everyone in that theater will exit the back doors and get on the Navy shuttle boat, take about a 7-8 minute boat ride to the memorial, during which there is a recording telling the story and pointing out certain points along the way. You have about 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes on the memorial itself, and then the return trip to the memorial. And while you're on the memorial, there is one area called a well, which is an opening in the floor of the memorial, and you can actually see down onto the ship. Depending on the tide height of the time, there are several portions of the ship that are available for viewing, and it's very, very shallow.
Can you tell us about the origins of the monument?
Alfred Price was the architect who designed the memorial, and it was he was here during the attack. I believe he was Austrian, and he actually was in an internment camp for a short time right after the outbreak of the war. And there have been numerous people who have contributed to the cost of building the memorial. We get people occasionally that come out. We've actually had people come out and want to know why we don't have a statue of Elvis Presley somewhere, because he did indeed have a concert here in Hawaii to help raise money for the memorial, but others have equally contributed. And this was something I believe the War Commission, which was formed many years ago, wanted to have a memorial here eventually, after it was determined that they were going to let the Arizona remain where she was.
While there is still strong feelings about Pearl Harbor, Wester recalls a handshake of friendship during the commemoration of the end of the war between Japanese and American veterans. He observes that about 35% of the park's visitors are from foreign countries, particularly China and Japan. Wester emphasizes that the park intends the memorial to be a place of learning rather than a tourist attraction, and says he receives satisfaction from the special feeling the park gives visitors. Finally, Wester urges potential visitors to arrive early when it's cooler and less crowded, and take the time to reflect on the memorial's meaning.